created 14 million new jobs, more jobs in 3 years than any president's created in 4 years in history. We're investing in America, in jobs for American workers, built with American products.
Biden sounding almost Trumpian there. All that focus on American workers, gee, it almost sounds too good to be true. Because it is. New analysis is showing, get this, nearly 3 million migrants have joined the workforce since January 2020. And what about the native-born American employment? Well, it actually dropped by 121,000 during that same time frame. Joining us now, Stephen Miller, former senior advisor to President Trump, founder of America First Legal. Stephen, and to add insult to injury, Colorado is now floating a plan to hire non-citizens to serve as police officers and firefighters. Stephen, it's America last once again for these people.
Absolutely, Laura. And let's talk about something that very few people actually know about. In 2020, President Trump issued a travel ban on foreign workers, a 212F travel ban on foreign workers. So guest workers, green card-based employment workers, etc., saying that they couldn't come into the country and take jobs during the pandemic. He did this specifically knowing that companies would try to replace American workers with lower-cost foreign workers using the pandemic as a pretext. When Joe Biden came into office, what did he do? Not only did he open up the southern border completely, as we know, adding in 10 plus million illegals, but he also canceled all of President Trump's economic travel bans to let in massive numbers of foreign workers, including foreign guest workers who earn wages far beneath what Americans earn. The result, as you have said, is that all of the jobs recovery since the pandemic, all of it, 100%, Laura, has gone to migrant laborers. There are fewer U.S.-born Americans working today than there were before the pandemic. So every time Biden talks about the economy, all of that is the employment of migrant workers.
And the sanctuary mayors in these cities have been pushing for expedited work permits for migrants. Watch this.
We're saying we must expedite work visas. It's just common sense. Thousands of jobs are available to be filled.
What we want is the federal government to step out of the way of employers who want to hire individuals who are trying to get access to work and help get them access to work as expediently as possible.
Yeah, he echoed that again today, especially given that story about the police officers and firefighter jobs going to non-citizens. Like, let's get them moving in the workplace. That means, Stephen, they'll never leave. They're going to say they can't be deported, et cetera, et cetera. So enmeshing them in American culture, this was the plan all along.
Oh, first of all, we've entered a brave new world now where in the not too distant future, illegal aliens will be arresting American citizens. That is the world that we are entering right now. And all this talk about the federal government has to get out of the way and let these illegals work. The federal government's job is to keep illegal aliens from working. Joe Biden is printing work permits like it's a monopoly money factory. Joe Biden and Senate Democrats, their bill in the Senate, what would it have done? It would have made it easier to give work permits to so-called asylum seekers who are in truth, of course, just illegal aliens. That's the entire strategy. Get them in, get them work permits, goodbye American workers.
You know, you stated it better than I did, Stephen. People break the law coming into the country, lie about being a refugee or you know, on asylee, and then they end up getting a job to arrest Americans. Thank you for stating it that way. That's why
to the local police department. Your job is to go arrest an American citizen. And by the way, Laura, what are those American citizens going to be arrested for in the future? With our new censorship regime, they're going to be arrested for protesting illegal immigration. Mark it down here. There will be, in blue cities, illegal aliens arresting Americans for the crime of protesting illegal immigration.
I just hate speech in general, Stephen. Great to see you. Late Dianne Feinstein's California Senate seat, that's shaping up to be a doozy. And one of the Democrats' top contenders has a nifty plan on how to more efficiently tank the California economy.
You're calling for a $50 an hour federal minimum wage. Can you explain how that would be economically sustainable for small businesses?
I know what worker productivity means, and that means that you have to make sure that your employees are taken care of and have a living wage. $104,000 for a family of one. Barely enough to get by, low income because of the affordability crisis. And so just do the math. Just do the math.
I wonder if she does the math or has had a big payroll on her hands or any payroll. Joining me now is Chef Andrew Gruel, who runs multiple restaurants in California. Okay, Chef Gruel, good to see you. What would a $50 minimum wage that Barbara Lee says we need do to businesses, including yours?
Well, let's cut to the bottom line. Every single business in California would go under, number one. Number two, if she's really serious about this, why don't you go ahead and do it tomorrow and start with all the state-run employees, the DMV, start paying them all $50 an hour. See what happens, because they're not serious about this. It's a joke. This lady is a moron and a narcissist who's saying stupid things to try and get attention at best. At worst, she's trying to buy votes. This is going to lead to upward pressure on all wages. It's going to totally inflate the entire economy of California, which is already there, and there will be no independent businesses in California. 100% of the businesses will be run by the state, and they will rely on the state, and it's communism light.
Well, the government is the jobs program for California right now. I mean, that is the main employer. It's the case in many states, but in California, government employment is really the mainstay, in many ways holding entire sections of the state in even functioning at this point.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then why don't they go ahead and, kind of put their money where their mouth is, literally, and pay all of their workers $50 an hour?
Well, consumers, by the way, told a Fox affiliate in LA how they felt about a $20 minimum wage. This is back in November. Watch this.
In April, when the hourly wage goes to $20 an hour, companies like McDonald's and Chipotle foresee menu price increases.
The cheeseburgers that we got used to be $1, and now the meal was like $10.
Nobody wants to pay like $20 a meal for just a single person.
Andrew, if this is how consumers feel about $20 an hour with the increased costs, what's a state going to cost if it's a $50 an hour, again, wage, which I think a lot of Democrats and socialists in California would support?
I think they would support that 100%. But let's just kind of break it down, real simple math. So if I run 30% cost food cost and then 30% labor cost, and now I double that to 60, and I'm netting 10%, which is average for a restaurant, now I'm negative 20%. So if I'm negative 20% to make up for that, to try and break even and stay alive, I'm going to have to increase my costs by 4 or 5x. So a steak in California would cost roughly $300 at a $50 minimum wage.
Okay. Is everyone waking up at that point? It's Valentine's Day. A lot of people going out to dinner. That should wake them up. Chef Gruel, great to see you. Thank you.